We are going to be with the one and only Joey Mulinaro of Barstool Sports. Joey, tell us what we're going to learn.
You're going to learn about how a small Southside kid, Catholic kid, made his way all the way to New York City and the biggest sports entertainment website in the world.
What is the roadmap to defeat self-sabotage, negative thinking, and learned helplessness? In these unprecedented times, you must get connected, get growing, get certain, and get attitude. The Get Attitude Podcast. What's up, and welcome to the GAP, the Get Attitude Podcast. We are going live on Facebook today with a super influencer, a end of the road millennial into a possible Gen Y or whatever.
Yeah, not Gen Z. Gen Y?
Gen Y.
Gen X? Whatever came before the millennials?
They're all screwed. You know what? You're too cool to be identified and pigeonholed.
Right. Yeah, thank you.
We're with the great Joey Mulinaro from Barstool Sports. Joey is at Joey Mulinaro on YouTube and on Twitter, especially. Joey's got 334 freaking Twitter followers.
1,000. 334 wouldn't be that impressive. You forgot the 1,000.
So here's the deal. Most people my age are like, I got 334 Twitter followers. Right. 334,000.
24,000. Sorry. I just want to make sure that people don't go and they don't look and they say, oh, Joey's he's a fraud. He's lying to us. You misheard me. 324,000.
After this show, so guys, look we easily have 100,000 people that listen to this show.
Yeah.
So let's get 10,000 people to hit Joey's Twitter, bang it up, and check him out. Joey is with Barstool Sports. For those of you, my guess is everybody knows who Barstool Sports is. But why don't you tell us real quick, what is that platform? Why is that so innovative? Because it is innovative.
Yeah.
And tell us what the hell that is.
Barstool Sports is an entertainment sports website, all right, barstoolsports.com, that has just grown and evolved into podcasting and YouTube series and YouTube shows, just multimedia to the max. Everything that you're looking at on your phone, everything that is media, Barstool is involved in. Founded by Dave Portnoy back in 2003. The guy, I mean, you would love this guy. He started it in Boston, his hometown, just passing out as a newspaper. It started as a newspaper, and they just were passing out newspapers, and he were doing it for free, and all of a sudden now it's grown into a $150 million, almost billion, whatever, $150 million company, and it's huge. It has a footprint on everything, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
And the biggest piece of Barstool Sports is simply Dave Portnoy eating pizza.
It's a big one for sure. I mean, Dave, he's El Prez. He's El Prez for a reason. You see him. I mean, you've probably seen him on Tucker Carlson, Fox News shows. He hops on TV, different, Jim Cramer. Now Dave's doing Davey Day Trader, where he's all about stocks, and I have no idea about any of that. But yeah, he does the pizza reviews. You've probably seen it. The one bite. Everybody knows the rules. Yeah, it's just it's what you were saying about it being innovative and is evolving. Is that's what we are. It's whatever is new, whatever is coming about. We don't go the route of traditional media where we kind of shy away from it. We go the route of saying, we may not know what this is right now, but we're going to get in it, and we're going to figure it out, and we're going to dominate it. And that's why Barstool, 18 years later, is on top.
And that is why you're at the Get Attitude Podcast, because there is no more innovative podcast when it comes to your attitude, picking you up, getting you thinking right, than the Gap. So we're so honored, Joey,
absolutely,
to have you here. Let's just dig into that a little bit more. When you say that, man, nobody's really doing that, right? Yeah. If you can go back to 2003, my guess is you're probably pretty aware of the company you work for. can you give me one example of like, you know what? Here's something we did that, as far as I know, nobody else really did that we were innovative in. Is there any examples that you could maybe share with us?
Yeah, I mean, like Dave has a saying, and it's up in our office and everything. You know, he says that he invented the internet. You know, we invented the internet. Talking about Barstool because newspaper and print journalism and everything was starting to die and slowly fall off as the internet came around and as Dave started building it and as phones became more prominent and everything. So we saw the way of where the world was going. So instead of just saying, oh, well, shoot, we're kind of... Am I allowed to curse on this podcast, or do we stay away from it?
I'm good. Maybe F-bombs are off, but
we don't say. Okay, I don't have to. I was just about to say S out of luck. So
right.
we're out of luck with traditional media. So what they did was just, again, they were the first to go to the internet. They were the first to, instead of saying, oh, well, we don't have a TV show, well, we're going to make a TV show that you're going to watch on your phone or on your computer, that kind of thing. So every year when you see the ESPNs and the Foxes of the worlds or whatever have like an NFL draft show,
right.
Well, that's fine, but we have our own that's more fun, that's more entertaining, that is more relatable, that's just on Twitter and YouTube and on our website, and you may not be able to watch it, on your cable news or whatever, but as we were talking about beforehand, smart TVs and the way the world's going,
sure,
you can just stream us on there, ready to go. So things like that.
And streaming is everything. And by the way, we are available to be seen at C-Suite Network on several streaming platforms, and it's like Jason's obviously much better than I am at this, but we got picked up and he's like, oh my god, man, we're going to be on the streaming channel and this is great. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell that means. I can't even find it. I can't even program my TV. But that is in fact the case. Let's talk about the NFL draft real quick. People watched ESPN and were pissed because they don't like Mel Kiper. Then they switched to the NFL Network. We're like, oh, those guys do better. What you're telling me is, had people known, they could have gone to barstoolsports.com or on Twitter or on YouTube and watched who was breaking down the draft for Barstool.
I mean, and that's the thing, is we had all our personalities, and that's another thing that is innovative about Barstool, is instead of saying, oh, we're going to take these people who are beat reporters and kind of boring and people who followed the team in a journalistic way, we're going to take the biggest fans who have the most personality and who are the funniest and the most creative, and then we're going to be able to have it to where the fan bases relate to them. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So what we do is, we get, so like me, I represented the Steelers for when we picked in round one, so I'd hop on and I would talk about it like a fan, and that's what people want. They want to listen to people talk about it who aren't holding anything back, who aren't being all buttoned up and being journalistic. They want to hear somebody that sounds like them, that talks like them, that is like they're sitting in the living room with them watching the draft, rather than somebody who's kind of giving the beat around the bush beat writer report and everything like that. So we had everybody from our company who had their favorite teams, and then you had special guests. We had who's the dad? Danny Tanner. Who's the dad on Bob Saget?
Bob Saget,
yeah. Bob Saget. We had, I think, Guy Fieri. We had DK
kidding.
Metcalf. I mean, we had over 40 celebrity guests that also would hop in with the employees of the company who are representing the team. So we have it all. So that's one thing that was really innovative about Barstool as well, is instead of trying to take the approach of talking to people like everybody else was in media, they said, we're going to take these people who have grown a following, and oh, by the way, they're diehard fans of this team, and we're going to talk to them that way.
Wow. Yeah. And so, all right, I love this. I'm pissed that I didn't watch Barstool. I would have freaking loved that.
Yeah.
So, the Pittsburgh Steelers, with the first round, picked some guy I don't think I know.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Who was it?
Najee Harris.
Well, I know Najee Harris.
Yeah, running back out of Alabama.
Yeah, so he actually is somebody I did know. Okay.
And there you go. And I'm very, very excited about him.
And you were happy.
I was.
Because Pittsburgh likes to run the ball.
Need to get back to running the ball, and there's no better way to do it. I know, I understand. You got to have some linemen, and they invested in line in the 3rd and 4th round, okay? Excuse me, but they got the best player available at the running back position at the 24th pick.
No question.
You can't be upset about that.
Yeah.
Can't be upset about that.
That's good. And so, the other big pick was Fields. Who came in to represent the Chicago Bears on the Barstool Sports?
So we are heavily represented in Chicago. We have a whole branch that is it's Barstool Chicago.
Okay.
And so it's five, maybe six off the top of my head, guys who are just the most Chicago guys you can think. They talk Chicago. They look Chicago. They love their Italian sausage. They love the Cubs and the Sox and the Bears. I mean, they are all in. So they represent Chicago. And then Barstool Big Cat, who's one of the kind of founding fathers of Barstool, I call him.
Okay.
He is a big Bears guy and a big Chicago guy as well. So we have a very strong backing in Chicago.
I love it. And so were they just going crazy over the Justin Fields pick?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, they had reaction videos like crazy of them just because, coming in, everybody, I think they were picking 20 or 18 or something. They had a ways to go before they could get one of the guys at quarterback. And so then when Fields starts falling and then all of a sudden they trade up, all our Chicago guys just going crazy. So they have a video of them finding out that the Bears were trading up, and they're all realizing that they were going to get their guy. And then once they took Fields, they all lost it.
And then let's talk about we'll go the innovation. I want to stay with the innovation route because you guys did something really cool on raising money during COVID.
Yeah.
So I want to just plug that. Tell us the innovation, the thought, the process, and if there's a way for you to say, hey, all you got to do is go to there if you want to keep helping people. Yeah. What's the story there?
Yeah, so it's called the Barstool Fund.
Okay, Barstool Fund.
Dave, this is just how Dave operates. One day he calls them emergency press conferences where he, takes a selfie video and puts it out where he's addressing something. And he put it out on his Twitter, and he was basically just like, it was right around the time when, we were having trouble, people were having trouble getting like their stimulus checks, their COVID stimulus checks to help them get by. And so Dave was just like, I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what's going on in the government. I don't really care, but I know that I have the ability to do something, so I'm going to do it.
Right.
So now that was, I'm trying to think of when exactly that happened.
It's a year ago, probably.
Well, yeah, it was probably at least 6 months ago, I'd say, but it's raised over $40 million.
Holy crap.
And it's to go to small businesses and companies and restaurants that need help and need the help to get through the pandemic to where people weren't able to go into their stores and their shops and just to keep their doors open. So, yeah, I mean, it's incredible. Like, I get chills just talking about it. Like, it's, he put the challenge out there, but that's how he operates. Like, when he wants to do something, he just does it.
Right.
And so it's super cool to work for a guy like that and a dude who's doing so much good. I mean, $40 million to places that are neighborhood mom and pop shops that needed help like that. I mean, it's incredible. So you just look up Barstool Fund. It'll be the first thing to come up on Google, Barstool Fund, and you go and you can donate and help be a part of some good stuff.
Have you given away the $40 million, or is there still money there? And like, let's say I'm a local pot dealer and I'm going, hey, I mean, does that qualify? Or like,
so there are qualifications.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, glad you brought that up. There are qualifications, and it's all on the Barstool Fund. And the money goes. I forget exactly what they are, so you have to check them out yourself. But I know that it has to go to a place that had kept their doors open and was continuing to pay their employees, even through the toughest times, doing everything it can to keep their lights on. But the money is being distributed, and it continues. So as the money continues to grow, you continue to get your stimulus from the Barstool Fund, and so you'd be good to go and get you through it and better times.
I love it. We are here. There's the Barstool Fund. What up, Jason? Well done.
Look
341 businesses supported, 227,000. Guys, go to Barstool Fund, hit them up, give them a contribution. Please support what they're doing. 39 million raised. That is freaking awesome, and I love it. So, just do what you can to apply and to do whatever. I'd love to just see what's going on. So, guys, look, if you're out there, I don't know, Jason, if we got anybody watching, we may not. My guess is we got a few. But if you guys want to say hey to Joey, if you want to ask him questions, please put something in the comments. Jason will read it. We'll answer whatever questions, and we're just going live. So anything right now, Jason, are we good?
We got viewers, but no one's asking questions. So they're just consuming
The
content, the information.
All right, so let's go to this. So I'm sure we'll probably get back on Barstool, but you're on daily. You are live.
Yeah.
So for those people out there, Get Attitude podcasters, we call them our gappers, right? They're going,
nice.
I think I'm going to go live every day. I think I really want to have this story. I think I want to do what Joey does. Talk to us about number one, how long have you been doing it? What was your biggest challenge? And what do you talk about?
Well, so I started this show that I do, Morning Joey, on YouTube every single day during weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. I started doing that at the beginning of March, so I've been doing it for a little over 2 months now. But to what you're talking about, in the greater picture, I had been working in the media since I was 19 in college.
Wow.
20 years old. I'm 27 now. 20. I got my first part-time job at MS Communications in downtown Indy, and that was just 5-hour shift on Saturday nights, just making sure that basically the station didn't blow up.
Right.
So started as a part-timer there, and I just worked my way up, and I kept at it, and I added on kind of the comedic side and the impressions and the sketch comedy and everything. I added that on to what I was doing, just because I was trying to break through any way I could. It's
right.
a very competitive. Hey, there we go. That's me.
Cup of Joey.
There we go. Yeah, I'm a big coffee guy. Jason hooked me up with the coffee right here, so I try to go that route. Cup of Joey, cup of Joe. We're having some Joe in the morning and everything. But
4.32, that's good for 60 days.
Yeah, I mean we've been working at it. It's people for whatever reason still kind of have a weird thing about going and subscribing to YouTube. It's like my. Oh, then you search that. That's good. My buddy KFC, who I work with, he kind of laid it out. He's like, not subscribing to your favorite people on YouTube that you watch and that you follow would be like on Twitter if you just opened it up and like there was random things every single time. Like
right.
On Twitter, you follow the people that you want to like and you want to follow and get content from.
Right.
That's hitting the subscribe button. That's what it is on YouTube.
Right.
So, but. For whatever reason, people.
So let me just do that right now.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man.
Click.
That's awesome.
Boom.
Look at you. Now you're in.
I'll delete it after we're done. Just kidding.
There we go.
Unsubscribe.
Yeah. Subscribe and unsubscribe. Anyways, like I was saying, I just kept cracking through, man, and there's a lot of times where I was just eating crap, and I wanted a seat at the fine china table, but it just wasn't there yet, and it was tough, but I've been at it for a long time. Yeah,
it's not easy. So you do the voices, you do the sketches, people are digging you because of that. How did Barstool find you? Right, like what was it?
Yeah, well, fall of 2019 is when things kind of started picking up and taking off in my career and my following, and then I rode that all the way through into the new year, into 2020, and it just continued to grow, and I was still at MS at 1070 The Fan, and a lot of people were like, you got to be like jumping ship at some point. I was like, yeah, people are talking to me, but nothing's really caught my eye yet. And then one day when the NFL Combine is typically in Indianapolis the end of every fall or every February or whatnot, that's when the whole NFL world is coming to my backyard, and so that's including Barstool. So Big Cat, actually a host of Part of My Take and one of the founding fathers of Barstool, as I call him, he just messaged me and was like, hey man, gonna be in Indy, me and Dave have been following you and like what you do, and would love to chat. I was like, of course, hell yeah. I've been following you and listening to you for a really long time. And so I got together with them, and we did a couple of videos that we collabed on together, and just hung out for a few hours.
Cool.
And then he passed my info to Dave, and then that night I was on a call with Dave.
What's the biggest video you've done that's gotten the most hits? And we'll see if Jason's able to pull that up.
The most... I'm trying to think.
There's just so many.
No, and it won't be on YouTube. It'll probably be on Twitter, Jason. But
Jason's a total badass.
Yeah, no, he's unbelievable. It's something with Cowherd, maybe like Cowherd meeting his daughter's boyfriend. Last time I checked, that was like 3.8 million views or something.
No kidding.
Maybe one of the Collinsworths. Saban on Halloween was really big. And then me and my buddy Ben Polizzi is also a Southside Roncalli guy.
Yeah.
We do a lot of stuff together, and so we have these characters. We do videos. We call them Johnson and Schmitty, and they're just like, whoa.
Hello, mama.
Hello, holy cow, Burpee Boy. But they're just like every just out of college guy, just being guys,
sure,
talking about beer, football, and so we do that, and those are pretty popular. But yeah, maybe one of those impressions that I mentioned.
So let's take it back to growing up on the south side of Indy, right? What parish were you from?
St. Barnabas.
You're a St. Barney guy.
Yeah.
Was Polizzi St. Barnabas?
Uh-huh.
Both.
Yeah.
Did you guys know each other all this time?
Yeah, he's 3 years older than me.
Okay, but you knew each other. All right. So when you think about attitude, how would you define attitude, and who was your first attitude coach?
Yeah, attitude. I'd say your perspective on life and how you handle / deal with what comes your way.
Nice.
And my mom, and it's cliche, but I mean my parents, and I'd say my mom a little bit more than my dad, just because I'm the only boy and I'm a son, so we're kind of had that like buddy thing. But my mom, she comes from a very disciplined, old school house. She did, and so she kind of,
Are both your parents Italian?
No, just my dad.
And so your mom, what's her
heritage? Mostly German, I think.
So she was just a tough ass German. That laid down the law.
You're right. And then my dad, my grandfather, who he's my namesake. My dad's Joe. My grandfather's Joe. My great grandfather's Joe. But my dad and grandpa are just classic. Hey, Joe, come here, give me a kiss. Like that kind of thing. And then my mom is very straight and narrow.
So when you think about the attitude lesson, what's the one thing you learned from mom? Maybe what's the one thing you learned from dad on attitude?
One thing I would learn from mom, and it ties in with attitude, I think, is accountability. And I think you got to have the attitude approach of being accountable for yourself, your actions. Basically, how she taught me is like, and it's a whole conversation to be had about other people. But when I was growing up, if I got in trouble at school, I would come home and kind of tell my mom. It was never like, oh, well, I just can't believe that teacher would do that. It was always, well, what'd you do? And as a kid, you're like, you. Oh yeah,
I got in trouble every day.
Well, but then you're dad, so you had all these kids coming back, but like, so I'd be like, but I really didn't, pulling that card. She's like, no, you had to have done something. What'd you do? And then finally, it's like, okay, I did this, and I probably shouldn't have. So what I'm saying is, like, it was never the coach's fault. It was never the teacher's fault. It was never that. It was always, what did you do? How can you fix it? And then let's go from there. And I think, especially as you get older, that helped a lot with, and I think it helped with, my career of just not, pointing fingers at other people or, feeling sorry for myself or blaming other people for why stuff wasn't happening, and just saying, hey, look, I'm in control of it. And I got to be accountable. I got to have the attitude of, hey, I can take care of this, and I got to keep going.
Right. So, Gappers, the lesson from Mrs. Mulinaro is trust me. It's your fault, Joey. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be looking for anybody else. So, Gappers, if you are listening to this now, and if you got some bad things going on in your life, if you're sitting there going, woe is me, why aren't things happening? All you got to do is look in the mirror, and you'll find it. Hold on, what did you find there on TikTok?
This isn't one of the most popular ones. This came out
from
yesterday.
Twitter,
yeah. Search like something with Colin Cowherd, Jason. If you
Jason.
Twitter doesn't have a great way to like sort and find and stuff.
Plus,
like
they were probably a long time ago. So
Joey's getting on. Let's talk about either Grandpa or Dad. The best Mulinaro attitude lesson. What stays with you as a person as you're going through life that your dad or your grandfather might have taught you?
Yeah, my dad. He's a very a positive guy. So where my mom kind of would keep you more grounded and stay more straight and narrow, my dad would kind of give you the encouragement and the positivity to keep going and believing in yourself. So very, very, very positive guy, very uplifting guy in terms of outlook with his attitude on life. He's a very much glass half full kind of guy, whereas my mom, God love her, she might just be like, well, you might want to fill it up a little bit. It's, but what I'm saying is, I think the balance there really played out well for my childhood.
That's nice. What's this?
1.3 million views in this one.
Let's check that out.
One of us
Thank you.
Colin!
We are
Sunshine
Sunshine
Sally
Sally
and
and the Snake God.
I think we got double. There
a
we
little
go.
double whammy. Okay, hold on.
He'll get it done. Jason is the best producer.
Yeah.
And Joey something. That's your name, Joey something on Twitter.
Well, I make fun.
There we go.
All right, here we go. Let's see what we get.
Baker Mayfield on Snapchat, while Patrick Mahomes is in the Super Bowl. It's third. Let me shift gears to this. And Joy, I don't know if you saw this over the weekend. My boy Baker.
Colin Cowherd
He was
from
in the news
Fox
again.
Sports.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into it. You know, TMZ reports and online rumors and Twitter and, you know, everybody makes mistakes. You know, nobody's perfect. You know, even myself. I've been divorced. But I find it funny. Colin Baker's lit. Colin Baker's one of us. Colin Baker's 12 and 17 as a starter. 2 years. 12 and 17. I've got police video. I've got the grabbing the junk on the sideline. And now this.
I love
Sums
it.
it up.
So tell me why you picked on Colin Cowherd.
You know, I tell people this a lot when they ask me about the different impressions and things that I do is, you know, it, and Colin even said this on his show because he talked about me one time on his show. He said, he's like, you know, impressions are the greatest form of flattery, right?
Sure.
And you know, in most of the instances, that's very true. And Colin is somebody that I listen to religiously from the time I was 18 years old till still. I listen to him fairly regularly, not as much because I'm, you know, doing my own stuff. But so I got it, you know what I mean? I heard him so much and I listened to him so much and I began thinking in the way that he would reason things. And so that's, you know, all the impressions I did, Jimmy Fallon, Chris Collinsworth, Nick Saban, you know, all these people, I admire them, you know?
Sure.
And so that's why I feel like I can, you know, do a good impression of them is just because I watch their work. You know, I know them well.
And so when you think about what you're doing as a career right now, is there, number one, who was your mentor? Like, did somebody teach you how to do this? Like, who kind of taught you the quote-unquote biz? And, like, who's your favorite to listen to? Maybe it is Colin Cowherd. I don't know.
Yeah, mentor, you know, I had different professors and, you know, people at Undy that really kind of got me in and, you know, they gave me the push to, you know, like, scratch that creative itch, you know what I mean? Because for a while I was just in sports media and broadcasting, but I was kind of like, I think I like doing this stuff better. And they were like, yeah, go for it, you know?
Cool.
And so that was good. My dad, I mean, just like, you know, I grew up in a very, like, he always showed me the funny movies, the classic SNL bits, you know what I mean? Like, things like that is a very big part of my childhood and the house that I grew up in. So that was a big influence in that as well. It's just like, oh, I like those guys because they're cool and they make people laugh, you know, and I kind of want to go that route. But then getting into the business, like, it's just so weird, Mr. Bill. I tell you, it's like, you know, in Indy, especially where we come from, there's not like a realistic route to
do
being
what you're
in
doing.
Entertainment or being in whatever, you know? So I mean, honestly, like, definitely if it help along the way, but really it's just like I've said, like, okay, well, this is what I want to do, and maybe I can parlay sports media into, you know, using jokes on there, and then those jokes will be, you know, like David Letterman, like he obviously have a long way to go to that, but I'm just saying, like, I used him as like an influence of
Cool.
This is a guy that
Was
is
a weatherman.
Is from my hometown, you know, like had the same kind of route. Like, you know, he wasn't that good in school in math and science, he said, and he was good at speaking, and then he liked being a kind of smart aleck, and he was a weatherman, and kind of parlayed that here and here and here, and then all of a sudden he's there, you know, he's in New York. And so I was like, all right, well, I don't know if, you know, just going to want to be like an actor or on SNL is very realistic, so maybe I'll be in media. And then the same thing, like you said, and then maybe when I'm doing a sports talk show, people are like, oh, he's actually pretty funny, and then the pretty funny turns into here, and then so that's kind of how I looked at it.
Now you have you've either interviewed, you've met, you've been associated with, you've maybe sat on meetings or Zoom calls with a lot of probably famous people that are very influential and very innovative. And number one, I'd love to know your thought on, and you maybe already touched on it, you know, like, what's Dave El Presidente's attitude? But who else, as you've been with Barstool, like, made you go, shit, that's awesome. That guy is unreal. What was that interview? What were the words that were said that really either changed things or affected you?
Yeah, I mean, Dave is, He's a no-nonsense guy, especially with his employees. You know, he wants people that can get the job done and who just do work. You know, he doesn't want to deal with a whole lot of nonsense, even though, you know, our workplace is kind of like a reality show in itself. Like, he understands that, but at the same time, he's just like, I don't want to babysit you.
Yeah, he is not wasting time.
No.
I could tell that, kind of, right?
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to babysit you, which is nice. You know, he kind of puts it on you as an employee. He told me that in like the second meeting we had when we were kind of talking about, you know, what the work would look like working for Barstool, and he was like, look, you know, it's on you. Like, you'll be as big of a star here as you want to be, but I'm not gonna check in on you and make sure you're doing content. You know, and he's like, if you want to bust your behind and do a bunch of stuff, then it'll work out. And he's like, and if you just kind of want to collect a paycheck and be off in the distance, then I you know, I'm not going to get on you, but I'm just not going to waste my time with it. Like, fair enough.
So
very clear.
So not to get too personal or too close, and if you can't say, is it like, do you have an expected amount of content that you do, and then does Barstool own all your content? Are you able to do separate stuff? And are you like a salary guy? Is that how people get paid at Barstool? Or are you guys like, no, you got to produce to get paid, like a real estate guy? Like, what's the business like of that?
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. And that's another popular thing people ask me about, and it's a little bit of both. You know, there are, you know, everybody sees Barstool and they just think of Dave and they think of Big Cat and PFT and the different personalities there. But I mean, you know, when you go out there into the office and everything, you realize like it's a whole machine. You know, behind you have a whole area of production people. You have a whole side of the business that's just the business side, whether it be sales and merchandise and advertising and all that kind of stuff. So the way that people, you know, get paid and everything, I believe it works differently. For myself,
yeah, they're not telling you the truth, right?
For myself, you know, the way Dave broke it down to me when I was getting hired is, you know, I'm kind of like a cast member.
Right.
Yeah, like a cast member of Barstool. So me personally, I signed a 2-year contract. You know, so I'm on contract.
Right.
It kind of works that way. But again, no, it wasn't like, hey, here's part of your contract. You have to do 3 videos a week and write this many blogs or anything like that.
But if you suck, they can end your contract.
Yeah, if you suck, if you don't do work, you know
Right.
what I mean? Like, if Dave's just like, hey, what are you doing? Are you just collecting a paycheck? Like I said, he's not going to babysit you, but like if he notices and just like, what the hell's going on?
They can cut your 2-year contract short. I'm sure they have the rights to do that.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know,
but you're producing. You're making shit happen.
I'm trying, you know, and that's the thing is like I'm never not going to be producing stuff or working or, you know, whether it's a blog or whether it's growing my YouTube channel or social media or doing a video, like I'm always going to be doing something.
Right. What and so we didn't get to most famous person you've met or interviewed or interacted with that had something to say that influenced you. Yeah,
I've been really lucky. I've gotten to interview a lot of really cool people. Had really cool people who have, you know, followed me that I've been like, whoa. Jimmy Fallon is probably the biggest one.
So you interviewed Jimmy Fallon.
I did not interview him.
Right. But he followed you.
He followed me. He's liked and like quote tweeted some of my work and everything. But what was super cool, and I haven't shared it too much because, you know, this is a private thing with me and Jimmy, but it was just super cool when I tested positive for COVID back at like the beginning of November of 2020.
Right.
And I just, you know, because I was kind of slow on work a little bit, you know, and so I just tweeted out, I was just like, hey guys, like, you know, little lull in work right now, like I tested positive for COVID, so I'm just, you know, I'm all good, but just letting you know. And you know, I woke up the next morning and I had a message from Jimmy.
Oh my gosh.
And he was just like, hey man, are you okay? Are you in New York? You know, is there anything I can do to help you? And then he sends back and he's just like, you know, either way, you know, get feeling better soon, man. We need funny people like you in the world.
Nice.
And it was just like, I mean,
that's pretty cool.
He's you know, he's like one of my biggest inspirations, biggest dudes I've looked up to because, you know, he's a Catholic kid that grew up in a small town in New York, and he made it to SNL, and he's the host of the Tonight Show, and, you know, so I just relate to him on a few levels, I feel like, and I've always just looked up to him. And so that was just like, holy cow, you know, just that the fact that he would check in on me, one, when we've never met face to face, but then two, you know, also be like, hey, we need stuff that you do in the world, like, you know, get better. So that was really cool.
That's awesome. And so when we talk about the biggest influencers of attitude, right, we know that laughing and humor is incredibly therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's incredibly healthy. It's a attitude booster, no doubt. What's your thought on, I guess, humor as a whole? How do you garner humor? Who do you look to for humor? Why do you think you're so funny? Why do you love? Just, you know, give me something on, and really it's for the people that are sitting here listening today, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's humor meant to you, and how can you help them be more funny?
Yeah, I kind of explained in my intro blog with Barstool almost a year and a half ago. But I said that humor and laughter and making people laugh is what I consider my purpose in life. I have a tattoo on my arm here, and it's from my favorite prayer. It's called the Clown's Prayer.
Nice.
And the what it says is, and in my final moment, may I hear you say, when you made my people smile, you made me smile.
Nice.
So
that's so cool.
Got a close up on that there.
Yeah,
very
way,
nice. Yeah, I'm trying to,
Jason.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's some script ink, so a little bit hard, but it's just, you know, Chris Farley, his documentary came out when I was a senior in college, and I was at that point where I was like, I like doing funny stuff. Is it realistic? And then they set a point where the Clown's Prayer was a big inspiration for him.
Nice.
And they you know, talked about it, and so that's stuck with me ever since. And I remembered that, and I remember just realizing right out of college, I was like, you know what? There's jobs I could take out there. I'm sure that it would just get me into the professional world and all that. But I was like, you know, I really feel drawn to this. I feel driven to it. You know, I feel like it's my purpose. You
Awesome.
know, like you part of your attitude, I think, you know, it helps your attitude is to feel like you have a purpose, right? Whatever that may be, helping people, making people laugh, you know, I don't know, you know, but for me, that's what it is. And so that's just what's always driven me and still does, is like, no matter what, you know, how many followers I have, or no matter what the situation is, I want to be bringing joy to people. You know, however I can, whether it be with just jokes or videos or impressions. So, yeah.
I love it. And then as we also saw, let's get a close-up on that. The thing that brings Joey the most joy is it 6 Super Bowl championships?
Yeah, right there.
So, for you Pittsburgh Steelers fan, you guys think you are a freaking fan. Joey Mulinaro, he's all about those Steelers. If you are a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, hit us up at the Get Attitude. Say what's up. We will post that on the Gap. That's good.
Steelers and the Millennium Falcon.
That's right. I saw your stormtrooper back there, Jason. It's very cool. Got the Millennium Falcon. So this my left arm is just, it's like the sleeve of Joey. I got the Falcon.
That is so cool.
The Cubs final Game 7 score.
Oh, no
World
kidding.
Series
I
right
gotcha.
here.
All
with
right.
a little bit of the ivy. My favorite prayer that gives me purpose. And that right
Nice.
there. And I got my wife's initials. Her maiden name.
She is awesome. Your wife's name is?
Riley.
So,
Yep.
Hi, Riley. It's Coach Bill. Good to see you, girl.
We got to get back over to the Bill house,
Yeah, you
man.
definitely got to get
So
back
much
over.
fun.
Talk to me about Riley and what her attitude is. Why do you love her so much? How did she captivate your heart? And, what's her attitude, man? What was it about it?
She just, you know, I've never met anybody, especially somebody in my experience of the opposite sex, that has just been as supportive and fun-loving and understanding all at the same time of me, especially, you know. Just that feeling of like, until I met her, it was just me and it was just my life. But then when I met her, I was like, oh, you know how people talk about like that other half, you know, and that's your partner and everything.
Yeah.
That is what it was. I was like, yeah, this is like, I don't just think of myself as me anymore. It's like me and Riley because
That's cool.
we're together, you know. So yeah, I mean, just like the peanut butter to my jelly, the you know, coffee to my cream, all that stuff. I mean, she just takes me in and deals with all my nonsense and is just super supportive.
I love it, Riley. You're awesome, and she knows I love her.
Yeah.
We got to meet, and I just thought she was
Yeah.
the best. All right, so what we're going to do is take a quick little break. We're going to come back with knowledge through the decades. We are with master influencer and Barstool innovator Joey Mulinaro, and we will be right back after this quick break. This is Glenn Bill for the Get Attitude podcast. If you want to boost your attitude, make sure you share this, that you like this, that you subscribe, that you hit the bell on YouTube.
Yeah.
And usually we insert a commercial break into this, but we didn't. I forgot we were live. So here we go. Joey, you're going to be on the spot, but it's okay. We're usually heavily edited, but not now because we're live. We're going to do knowledge through the decade.
We're still heavily edited. It just happens in real time.
It will happen in real time.
That's what you get when you have an award-winning producer.
Hey, by the way, Gappers and those of you online, Jason and I just won the Communicator Award.
Congrats.
Thank you, which is a pretty prestigious award for podcasting. We are not, we actually had an individual episode which hit the award. We'll announce that and let you guys know what's going on. But congrats, Jason. Couldn't be doing this without you.
Woo-hoo. Likewise.
And it's a big deal. So thank you. All right, knowledge through the decades. Here's where we go. I'm going to put you on the spot. You're an improv guy.
Sure.
We talk about the attitude lesson of a newborn baby, right? I want you to think about either being born or what a newborn baby, what do you think the attitude lesson of being a newborn baby was?
If I cry more, I get to eat more.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, crying equals more good things for me.
That's good.
Yeah.
And it kind of works in with the more you produce content, the more you get.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah,
So it's all about
exactly.
content production
Right.
from the second you come out of your mother's womb.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, now I want you to go to 10. You're at St. Barnabas. You're in 3rd or 4th grade.
Yeah.
Right? You're 10.
Yep.
What's the attitude lesson you learned at 10?
Going back to what we talked about. Accountability with your attitude.
Right.
Don't point the finger at the teacher. Don't point the finger at the kid that threw something at you that caused a reaction to get your detention. Point at yourself.
So you threw something at a kid.
No, I had something thrown at me. And then I reacted. And then the reaction, it's like in football, right? Second man always gets caught.
Right.
Then the second man got caught, and then, I'm like, but he threw it at me. My mom's like, I don't care what he did.
She must have really kicked your ass because you brought that up twice. I
mean, it's a big thing. Yeah, seriously, I don't care what they did. They're not my kid. What'd you do?
Right.
I reacted. You shouldn't have reacted. That's
there
on you.
Go. I love it.
If you didn't react, then he would have gotten in trouble or nothing would happen. You wouldn't have gotten in trouble. Now you're in trouble because you reacted.
Boom. Control your emotions.
Got to have that accountability. Got to control your emotions.
I love it. And since you're now 30, this will be our last one. This is one of the shortest knowledge through the decades we get. But do you remember being 20? I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
Tell me what you were doing, what was going on in your life, and what was your attitude, and what was your attitude lesson. Think back to being 20.
20. It was my first year at the University of Indianapolis. I just transferred from Ball State, where I met your son,
Big Alex Bill. Props out to Alex.
Yep.
What's up, dog?
I met Big Al there. I was 20. It was my first year at the University of Indianapolis, and my attitude at that time, I think I don't want to give myself too much credit.
Go ahead.
I think it was a lot different, at least from the people that I was hanging out with, because at that point I was like, I need to find a plan. I need to get my act together. I need to get ahead. Especially in my career, I was like, I need to put in the time now at 20 so that when I'm 30, I will have my own show and I will be doing the things that I want to do. So again, I think kind of that introspective accountability. I was 20 and I was like, wow. No, self-discipline, I think, would be the 20-year-old one.
Cool.
That 20-year-old attitude, because like I said, like instead of going to a house party on a Saturday night, I had to say, nah, I got to go watch Netflix and press a couple buttons for this shift that it doesn't matter right now and it's just a paycheck, but maybe 5 years from now it'll help me out.
Man, that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. So,
self-discipline.
Gappers, look, it doesn't matter if you're 20, it doesn't matter if you're 30, 40, 50, or 60. It's never too late to start. and the accountability and self-discipline attitude that Joey has harnessed since he's been 20 has taken him to a place that is pretty cool, but it's not to a place where he's going to end up. We know that Joey's going to do unbelievable things. He's going to climb huge peaks, and you are going to hear from him. And I can't wait for like 30 years from now. Maybe they're going to pull up this old interview and be like, oh my God, look at Joey, look how young he looks. Who's the bald guy? So, Joey, thanks so much for being with us and sharing your stories and your attitude. I'll give you one last chance to just tell our public and our listeners, what's your hope for them? What's your message of hope for them? This is your time to talk directly to our audience, to say something positive to help them make their day, to make this upcoming weekend better for them. What should they be thinking?
I'd say take 10 seconds and then laugh. Okay? And what I mean by that is if something is making you mad at work, if something's making you mad in your relationships, if somebody cuts you off on the road, if your dog takes a dump in the house, just take 10 seconds, take a breath, and then just give yourself a chuckle and realize that you're living a blessed life. You have the control for yourself to be able to say, if I'm not happy with who I am or what I'm doing, I can change that. And man, just laugh, enjoy it. You know what I mean? I
love it. When you laugh harder. This is Glenn Bill and Joey Mulinaro from the Get Attitude podcast. You can find Joey at Joey Mulinaro, Mulinar. Hit him on Twitter. Get his subscriptions up on YouTube. Yeah. We were so grateful to have you here, Joey, and we'll look forward to seeing you on ESPN, Fox Sports, and the Joey Mulinaro Network on cable television.
Thanks,
we
Coach.
are out of here. Peace.
Don't leave him hanging. There you go.